Vicki from Bright in Mind, and today we're going to talk about this book, Outwitting the Devil. Check this out. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post videos on ways to increase your vibration, have a joyful life, and live with inner peace. I share information on how to do those things through certain books I read, books that raise your vibration, spirituality, self-help, personal development, even little videos on places I've traveled that help increase your vibration. Outwitting the Devil. I read this book when it first came out in 2011, and it was one of the only books besides Rich Dad Poor Dad and another book I believe that I was able to read within 48 hours. I couldn't put it down. This year I reread it and I realized, wow, there's so much nugget of gold. And I wanted to share the 5 best ideas on this book. And the first best idea is being led by fear versus being led by faith will cause automatic failure. So the history of this book is that when he first wrote this back in the 40s, he was so afraid to have it released. It was locked up in a hidden vault, and not until 2011 they released the book, and it had a lot of jaw drops. It was definitely the time that he wouldn't be able to release it in 1940s. Not as accepting and modern. And when he talks about being led by fear versus faith, is that during this time, and I believe it's still true till this day, 98% of the people in the world, they're led their thinking by fear. And when that happens, he talks about drifting. If any of those who read this book, and if you haven't, but the term drifting is in here a lot. He said when he can get people to drift, meaning have no aim in life, and be able to control what they're doing in life. He said that's how the devil outwits people. Because if they instill fear and 98% of the world is in fear, then that's an easy way to control them. And another way of saying like the devil is having the darkness grab you. Light versus dark, good versus evil. So he's talking about any time that you feel anything but a light energy, like peace, love, joy, abundance, faith, versus like a dark energy, fear, anxiety, worry, anger. That's what he means that the devil's outwitting you. He talks about in this book that fear is instilled in us when we're a child, especially certain different organizations and religions instilling children that be aware of the insidious devil. If you do this, you're going to have a devil in you. If you do this, you're going to go to hell. If you do this, things to instill fear in people. And he goes in to explain that certain schools and majority of schools that are teaching kids right now is getting them to learn random facts and figures rather than how to develop their own mind and mindset. Now you can see how controversial this book would have been in the 1940s. Even to this day, it's still controversial. However, I find it's more open because I have a friend who has their kids in school. There's like a dream building class. There's a gratitude class. There's a meditation class. So they do have to learn random facts and figures. However, they're learning to train their mind, learning to train their emotions, learning to use it to their advantage so that when they grow up and become a citizen in the world, they know what to do and know how to handle these challenges, rather get outwitted by the devil. Napoleon Hill created this book when he experienced it himself. He was learning about fear and lack of individuality when he first started his business. When he started interviewing people about their successes and fears, he found out that his notes became aimless and had no direction or firm philosophy in his knowledge of learning this. He was confronted by this strong voice, like another version of himself, a higher being, a spiritual guide, that said that he can achieve all his dreams and desires if he just let go of fear and doubt. Napoleon Hill called this voice infinite intelligence. People call it higher self, the universe, source, spiritual guides, spiritual being. And he said everyone has access to this. He calls this an abundance of faith, positive energy, that anyone can have access to as long as you get rid of doubt, fear, and worry of your mind. And I can attest to this. Last year was one of the most, it wasn't the worst, but it was really emotionally draining and challenging. And for some reason, towards the end of the year, I was able to connect to my spiritual guide, Zora. I Googled what that meant, and it meant light. So it was amazing how that came across. And even the beginning of 2024, or beginning of this year, I came across another spiritual being called Ba, which means strength and power. I asked, how are you, my connecting to you guys now? And it's just a version of me. It's just a higher version of me. And they're saying it's because everything you let go last year, we've always been there, Vicki. We always been there. You have always had this higher self in you. It's just, you didn't let things go. And we finally, after all these years now we can connect. Oh, it gives me shivers because it is, I do 100% believe infinite intelligence. We're all connected in some way. So that's why he talks about he mastered his mind with faith, with belief, with love for himself, and became a non-drifter. And he said that's the key. That's one of the best ideas in the first best idea, is that when you replace fear with faith and have complete belief in yourself that you can do it, you have mastered your mind. And that's one of the keys to success, he says in this book. Also, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below if you've read this book or how it's changed your life, or if you're planning to. Liking and subscribing really helps with the algorithms to get this information out to as many people as possible. My intention, my dharma, my purpose of this channel is to help share knowledge, to help increase your vibration so that you can live the best life that you can live. Brighten your mind to brighten your life, to brighten the world, and live in light and love. Subscribe now. The next best idea is to get what you want in life. It takes positive thinking and a purpose-driven life, meaning a target state. Thinking about it more than 50% of your thoughts per day. When I mean purpose life, I mean like your dharma. Dharma is another saying of what truly brings you inner joy and inner peace. And I've told people before, like with my channel, it does bring me peace. I still work a corporate 9 to 5, but I find that when I'm able to share things on my channel, read books, share the books I've read, it just feels like so natural to me. It's something that I love to do to help better the person. If you want to achieve success and happiness in life, he says in this book, you must have a goal, a definite purpose, a definite chief aim. And that's a key nugget, is having a definite chief aim. Just think about this. If you're driving in your car and you decide to drive somewhere without no target or without no purpose of going anywhere, you're probably going to be either driving in circles or driving to a random place that you don't even know. Versus if you're driving to somewhere that you have a specific target, you want to go to this specific city, specific time, specific aim, you're going to get there faster because you know exactly where you want to go. That's the same thing in life. You can't be drifting, that's what he means, drifting aimlessly and not getting what you want. And that's why this book is so important. It's more about like having an aim, because the less of an aim you have in life, the more the devil will outwit you / darkness will outwit you, because you're so easy to control via your emotions, minds, and thoughts, because there's nothing that you're aiming for. And that's why I talk about every single day we have a choice. We have a choice to have positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. And don't get me wrong, I know some days, even myself, I can get so negative, but I have to snap out of it. And the way to do that is to be appreciative, to fill your mind with good books like this, to watch channels that are so uplifting, like even my channel, Brighten Mind, and just fill your mind with things that can help you develop more desires and dreams and goals for your life, so that you'll be less aimless and less being able to be controlled by the darkness, which avoids drifting in life. Next is to develop positive habits and spend time with people who have these positive habits to want to be successful. Spend time with people who uplift you. Spend time with people who believe in your dreams. Spend time with people who just love you for you and won't gossip about you and won't cause drama with you and won't feel unnecessary worry in your mind of nameless things that don't matter. And sometimes people say, Vicki, I don't have anyone like that. I don't. My friends are negative, my family's negative, my family's the worst, coworkers are negative. I understand. And this is one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors. Hang out with them on YouTube. Hang out with me on YouTube. I post every week. Hang out with the author of this book, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Yes, he's an author, and yes, you're reading, but people say when you read a book, it's like you're having a conversation with the author. Listen to positive audios. Even in the background when you're working, if you can't, just even when you're driving your car, if you can't do that, even when you're on the bus and things like that, that's how you build your association with positive, uplifting people if you don't actually have the physical person in front of you. That's the one way to program it. And in this idea, he talks about the law of hypnotic rhythm. He talks about fixed, ongoing in regards to habitual behaviors. And he talks about how sometimes it can be a negative thing or a positive thing. The negative thing about it is that one example he used is that someone can go drinking alcohol from once a month to once a week to every single day and indulge in it. Not just that, with like certain, even food, smoking. So he's saying in his book, instead of doing those things, try to replace it with positive habits. Like instead of reading a book once a year, read one once a month, then once a week, then maybe even once a day with speed reading. And it's interesting how Napoleon Hill, he even talks about things like headaches. Headaches, he mentions in the book, are caused by unnecessary stress was the number one. Overindulging in certain foods, alcohol, drugs, things like that, eating the worst kind of foods. He said when people develop these bad habits, they start to go on a downward spiral and they are more prone to being outwitted by the devil. They are more prone to be controlled by the devil instead of outwitting it. And he also goes to say that when you associate with the 5 people you spend most time with, you start to pick up their habits. Check out my video up here on 5 people you spend most time with. I really go into how it can really energetically affect you, negatively or positively. He says most people drift in life aimlessly, accepting their circumstances, accepting how they grew up, accepting their environment, and not willing to change because, hey, this is what I was given, this is what I'm going to take, and this is what I'm going to go with in life. He mentions in the book Andrew Carnegie. He grew up poor in Scotland. He never gave up. He came to America as an immigrant, and he was one of the titans who started giving free libraries to different countries in the world. So he's the one who started the public library system, and he wanted to give back to as many people as he could. And he was the type of person, and mentioned in this book, who never drifted, who outwitted the devil easily. He had the temptations, but he knew that he had his aim, he had his focus, and this is what he wanted in life. So if you find yourself negatively impacted by certain people with fear, their lower vibrations of worry, anxiety, and disempowerment, maybe it's time to find a group of peers, a group of friends that are more supportive and are willing to uplift you. It will have a detrimental effect on you drifting and the devil controlling your mind. Want another way to raise your vibration and outwit the devil / outwit the darkness? Click the link below for my free course, Brighten Mind Blueprint. In this course, I discuss 5 simple hacks and ways that you can do right now to increase your vibration, increase your joyfulness, and increase your inner peace. And you'll be hanging out with me, a way to associate with another positive, like-minded person. Click the link below. The next best idea is successful people learn from failure. It's a tough one because a lot of people think failure as an end-all be-all, as something really bad. And it's something that I even experienced last week when I didn't generate a report a certain way and I saw it as failure. And then one of my coworkers came by and said, Vicki, how is that failure if you learned something? It made me realize the basic truth about failure. A lot of people say that when successful people, they became successful because they failed fast. They were willing to fail because they see it as lessons. They never saw it as a failure, as something bad. It was a specific stepping stone lesson they had to get to in order to learn or tweak and learn to get better in where they were going to in life. And the famous quote by Thomas Edison, who created the incandescent light bulb, you failed 10,000 times making the light bulb. And he said, wait a second, I did not fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that it successfully didn't work. If you twist it around like that, that's more of just, that's so true. I mean, your goal, if you think about if you're in school or anything, even in work or even anything you want to achieve in life, you're going to be failing. You're going to be failing. Like even if you're in a relationship, like if you're lucky to find your true love right away, but if you go through those cycles of dating, you have failed dates and failed relationship, it's because it's getting you closer to the one that's meant to be with you. As long as you learn that lesson. That's the key. You gotta learn a lesson or else the same type of person, circumstances will happen again. He said you always need to find a goal in life. He mentions that when it comes to failure, it's like seed. Like imagine a farmer planting a seed. Those seeds need to be planted in order for you to grow to where you need to be. And that's the amazing thing about failure. It's not a bad thing. So you just, for those who believe failure is bad, it's not bad. It's actually good. So don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams, on your desires. Failure is just a lesson, a seed that needs to be planted. The 5th best idea from this book is learning about dark energy versus light energy. On my channel, I always talk about bringing more light and love into your life. And this was this was the very first book I read on light versus dark side energies and just how much more powerful darkness can be. And this concept is very well explained or visually shown as a metaphor in the movie Star Wars. When you have the dark side, the Sith Lord, Darth Vader versus the light side Jedis. If you see in that movie, the darkness is so powerful. They're evil, they're angry, they have more power in them to like hurt someone. Versus the light side Jedi, they're more lighter. You can tell they're not as strong, but there's more inner peace, inner joy, inner light, absolutely like no turmoil. And that's what I learned about in this book. He's like, Napoleon Hill is trying to teach people, you got to outwit that darkness because that darkness can bring inner turmoil. You're moving further away from what you're truly meant to feel in this life is inner peace, inner joy, inner happiness. And this is a deep topic for me, especially because that's why I have my channel called Brightened Mind, because the moment you start brightening your inner mind, you will start to change yourself and your life, people and the world around you. Napoleon Hill mentions dark energies of the devil include poverty, criticism, becoming ill, losing a loved one, like being fearful of losing someone, growing old, death, and being so fearful of death. And if you really think about it, those are the top 6 type of emotions that can cause that emotion of worry, fear, doubt. And the one thing that I saw that was missing in the book, especially when it came to darkness, like, yes, have the faith. Yes, believe in yourself. Yes, don't drift. A lot of the things that's missing in many of the books is energy clearing. This is one hack to outwit the devil, remove the darkness in you, remove those stuck negative emotions and energies from your body, mind, soul. The reason why it's so important is because a lot of people do try the recipe. They try it out. Let's try this out. Let's follow through, and nothing changes. That's the one thing that I've personally done in my life in the last over a decade is energy clearing, whether it be the tapping technique, whether it be emotional code clearing, whether it be the best technique, the Mary Miller I Ching, Reiki. There's so many different ways to clear. We are energetic spiritual beings. When they say you're clearing things from different books, in one of the books I read on tapping, they said that when it comes to your energy clearing, just think of a fiber optic network. It holds different energies. And when it gets stuck, it's stuck there and it's stuck in your body. It's like your nerves, your energy fields. It's like your acupuncture, like meridian point. When you clear that, it pushes the energy out that's stuck there. And that's one hack that people don't do. And a lot of people, they do mask it with drugs, overeating, overworking, negative thoughts, and they don't want to confront it, because the moment you confront it, when you confront these negative energies, you're like an onion, each layer at a time. But you have to go through that to be truly successful and truly have inner peace and light in life. Outwitting the devil. Thanks again for watching my video. And if you're into ways to outwit the devil, watch this video over here on how to get ikigai, get more purpose in your life. See you in the next video.